Well, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, you know, it's Christmas, it's 25th, you need to take it easy. But as you're waking up, you need to know if the water is safe to drink, is there been a coup d'etat, you know, if the NPP hasn't blown anything up, is Mahama still the president? You have to be informed. So even though it's Christmas, we need to just run through what's happening. Keep you abreast while you're tucked up in bed. I hope you are tucked up in bed. And so that's it. We'll start with My Joy Online.
Yeah. We have awesome night of gold, frankincense, and myrrh at Osu ICGC. The night was not silent, but it was holy. Silent night, holy night. It wasn't silent, but it was holy. The venue was not in Bethlehem. It was in a temple in Osu.
That was the song that always caught me out at the choir at Martin the Porous. Anytime we had to sing Silent Night, I got kicked out of the choir. Silent night, holy night. But
right, okay, so it was a lot of churches last night had, programs, and today there will be church services all over. From here, we are going to church. We are going to church, honey.
Trinity Baptist, here we come.
Okay, that's the next story. Public Accounts Committee demands further probe into bus rebranding deal. Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is demanding further probe into possible breaches of the country's procurement laws in the award of a contract to rebrand the buses.
This story is not going to die just yet.
But yesterday you said that was it. Asking the AG to retrieve 1.9 was going to end the problem or the saga.
Well, you see, basically, I think what the public is now demanding is, just what went through.
Okay.
But you read the story and it's very complicated as to what next can we do.
Apart from retrieving
apart from retrieving the money, what next can we do? And you see, there've been huge chunks of money which have not been explained. And so it boils down to that, why are we so, including myself, why are we so fixated on this 3.6 million?
Because this one is so much in your face.
Maybe.
It's so much in your face. I mean.
Could this be a precedent set, though?
Hopefully.
That, the next sector minister sitting somewhere, I want to award a contract, you think, look, hold on, there's embarrassment around the corner. But you see,
and even if there's a stronger hand on you, demanding that you give the go-ahead, endorse it, and pass it on. Maybe you better resign on that note than resign after everything has been blown up and, things go wrong.
And I tell you what happened. You see, this is because even those who are staunch NDC members said, as for this one, we draw the line. You see, that's how accountability is achieved. When even those in your camp decide that, no, listen, I'm with you, I'm not leaving you, but you're not going this way. It happens,
Right.
But when we all just get ignorant and hypocrites and just start defending everything,
could it be that this time we haven't made it an NDC NPP issue?
It was so embarrassing that you just could not tolerate it. It was just so embarrassing, and it's good. Let us treat all other misappropriations this way, and I'm sure we'll get a good end. What's the next story?
Okay, next story. Photos. Royal treat on AM show continues.
It doesn't get more current than this, is it? It does not
The royal treat on the AM show on Joy News is still on as Nana Ansapal IV and his wife, Ohineyere Gifty, Auntie Yawo Dansua, continue to excite audience. Well, we hope we've been able to excite you, because that's what it's all about. Get excited, but you don't lose yourself in it all. Right, so the next story, please. Is that it? Now, this is what Senegal man wins 400,000 euro in Spain lottery.
The accounts have a saying that minyawayo ye musu, but musu we di mepe. Musu we di emra musu.
When I first went to London, right? And I was watching the news and heard about, workers winning lottery, and somebody found a ticket on the floor, or they'll do the scratch thing and win. I was always praying that somehow it will happen to me.
Should I tell you about mine?
So I actually was going to buy, those scratch you go to I was going to buy the little money I was making. So I'll go and buy a sketch. I got nothing. Nothing.
Well, since it's Christmas, let me share my lottery experience with you. Now, we had my dad's a driver who does the lottery, so he has this graphic thing, this newspaper. Yeah.
Right. They work the lotto.
The lotto, yeah. And since 1963, all the way through to back then, it was somewhere in the 80s. Every third week in July, 4621 drops. Now, the machine numbers will drop, I think, 1927, the machine numbers. And anytime 1927 comes in the machine numbers, the lottery number is 4621. And, you know, the
This is according to who?
well, according to the driver,
driver.
you know, who's
Okay.
worked. I mean, he showed it to us, you know,
Okay.
the machine numbers, everything. So Saturday is coming, and the machine numbers have come, which is the 1927.
Right.
So 4621 is going to come. May we went out shopping, my friend and I, Andrew Fori, back then, Razgege. May we went to BMW Mechanical Lloyd to place car. I mean, we're young, go. Say we booked a car when we were
Because
coming
you're
to.
going to win lottery.
No, I mean, there was no way we're not going to win. So from that day, I realized that my luck is not in lottery anymore. 4621. I can never forget that number. It didn't drop.
It didn't drop.
After the machine numbers dropped, when I staked it, it didn't drop.
Sweetie, let's take it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday.
Saturday,
Let's try it for the
4621.
last
Let's try it for the last time. 4621.
Okay, so that's about it. There's a story down. Can we go up a bit more?
Yeah, there's a good story. There's a charity that's giving something to some blind school. Go up.
Oh,
Let's see if I
okay,
can find
okay.
it. I want to talk about good things today.
Right.
It's about West Hills Mall. That's giving something to the school of the deaf. And I think it was a good
Okay.
story if we can find
It. All right. Okay. Right. Nope. Nope.
No,
nope,
I don't want
nope.
to.
Okay.
I don't want to read any bad story
But
today.
okay. All right. Then let's go to.
Brunya.
Can we go to City FM online?
Yeah, and they're Brunya. No, I think
Well-
they had their party. I think
Yeah, patrons have
December,
made it December to remember.
They had that
Okay.
yesterday,
Okay.
and then I think
Keteke.
Keteke fever is this weekend.
Are you sure it's Keteke fever?
Yeah, Keteke
This
fever is
weekend,
it's this
Sunday.
weekend,
Keteke
yeah.
fever, right? Okay.
Now last year, you know,
Okay.
we were both there.
Then
where
Army
I outstepped Ohinere, and I intend to do the same this year.
Army recruits demonstrate against trainers training. Very daring ones. Very daring ones. Wow. Okay.
Well, again, let me tell you a story about, you know, there's a little clip, right? And this guy is going into the army. So they wake up in the morning and the drill officer comes, so he's like, left turn, right turn, about turn, forward. I says, Sergeant, can you make up your mind? Do we turn left or do we turn right? It's like left turn, forward march, halt, at ease. Can you make up your mind what you want us to do? So I'm sure that's what they are complaining.
There's two trainers.
Yeah,
you
I'm sure
know,
that's what they are complaining about.
You know, in this technology age, you know, we want
Just
to go
WhatsApp-
there.
just
Yeah,
WhatsApp
with
the
what
thing,
is
you know.
what is this staying in the bush and eating bush rats and all live and all. They don't want that. Okay.
So it's staying with the army. I
Right.
think all national service students should be allowed to do
I do
some
agree
army
too.
training.
I think so too.
It's
I
crucial.
totally agree.
that from
Yeah.
school straight into the army, 6 months, and then go ahead and do whatever it is you want to
I
do.
think so
To
too.
ins-
It
bring
instills a
back
lot
some
of discipline. That is,
Bring
if
back
it
discipline.
still is like that.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure.
these days that
I'm
we
sure.
hear some army officers joining armed robbery groups and all that.
well,
But well, there's still some very good men and women out there who are doing a great job. Right, now Stan Dogbe calls BBC journalists useless over bus issue. Yes, so BBC puts up a story about the bus saga and the fact that the minister had resigned. And Stan Dogbe also tweets to say that, well, this is a useless story, probably written by another useless, journalist.
I
So
know the BBC reporter is an MPP guy.
How do you know?
Well, because he complained about the buses. That's what we do in this country. If you're not for us, then you're against us.
Okay. Asawasi killing, 4 suspects granted bail over NPP. Now, this year hasn't been too good for the NPP, has it? How many? The official ones that we known too. The former Northern Regional Chairman, and then the Asawasi issue. And politics hasn't been really exciting this year. It hasn't been exciting at all. Right.
Okay. Here I found the West Hills story.
A story.
I
Okay,
really
can
want
we
to-
go back to the West?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I want to say a good thing and praise them and then urge all other companies who can do that. Now that's West Hills Malls put Xmas smile on the faces at Akpalu School for the Deaf. And basically what they did was, go to the school, and this is a season to be given things like this. And these are the sort of stories you want to read on the 25th morning. No more insult, throwing, killing, nothing.
Right.
Give out something. And I urge other big corporations to follow. Now, this guy and his Danish wife have set up this school. Kojo Boating and his Finnish wife, Hannah, set up the school 10 years ago, and they said now they are really struggling.
Currently has 72 pupils and a teaching staff of 8 who are all deaf. Really? Can we go up a bit, please? This is quite interesting. Right. The teaching staff of 8 who are all deaf anyway.
If it's possible. No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay. The school depends on donations and gifts from friends and families of the couple, the Lutheran Church in Finland, and the sale of Ghanaian fabrics and trinkets in Finland. Some pupils and staff waved in appreciation after the presentation. Looking on is acting proprietress Maria Kikivo. Okay, I don't see the last one, but something like that. But this is really good.
They've had to buy, the story goes on to say they bought a school bus to usher the kids from school to home, because it's very necessary, because they are deaf, they get run over, they're more likely to get run over by cars because they can't hear cars coming, they can't hear the horns. And our drivers can get very, very impatient.
Right.
So because they bought the school bus, now they are stuck, or they are unable to extend the school. So if you're out there and it touches your heart, why not?
And every time I have to drive up the mountains, my mother-in-law lives at Ikropo. Auntie Anissa, good morning. I love you. Anytime I have to drive, you see the children, we have the school for the blind and the school for the deaf up the mountains, on that road. And you see some of these kids carrying, buckets, and they've gone to fetch water. And every time I see them, my heart skips a beat. So especially the deaf.
The dormitory is miles away from the classroom.
Miles away from the classrooms, and even sometimes the water is not flowing, so they have to go to town to go and fetch water, and it's very, very heartbreaking. Maybe some people, let's make an appeal. Some people should go and
special needs. As for special needs, you can easily spend 3 million on special needs. We won't complain. We won't complain. Special needs all day long. I'll even double it, 6 million on special needs. Just give them that extra quality education so that they come out and become doctors and teachers and, use people in society. But so as for special needs, I've signed it.
So says the chief. All right, so I think we can go to BBC now. Right.
Bus attack in Kenya linked to ISIS. Do you want to read this at Christmas? Do you have a good report?
But you see, the thing is, it's Christmas, but it's still happening. People are being killed. Lots of things are happening, and we need to talk about it.
Well, open the story. Let's see what it says. Bus attack in Kenya kills linked to ISIS. But what's ISIS doing in Kenya anyway? I thought they were in Syria.
But they all linked up. All these terrorist groups are now linking up into, they are somebody who's interrelated somehow. So Kenya's police chief, Joseph Bwene, has said Al-Shabaab militants are behind this week's thwarted bus attack were linked to the Islamic State, ISIS, Islamic State, It becomes ISIS when you are the Iraq and Syria group. Mr. Bwanet said Al-Shabaab, the Somalia-based Islamist group, has split in two. One faction remaining loyal to Al-Qaeda and the other to IS. Interesting.
It doesn't get worse.
Interesting.
You see,
this is all about we copying blindly, right? We join everything.
You took the words out of my mouth. What really amazes me is when I hear that somebody from Africa is flown to Syria to go and fight for injustice. I marvel. Injustice, you are in Africa
now,
and you did
can
not
we go
find
up?
a
This is an interesting part. Can we go up a bit? Every time when we talk about terrorist group, we link them to Islam. Now, sweet, listen, on Monday, Muslims protected fellow Christian passengers when their bus was ambushed near the Somali border.
Now, that's
border.
a story that should be highlighted.
That is a story.
That should be highlighted.
In April, 148 people died in single Al-Shabaab attack in Kenya. Now, it says Muslims protected fellow Christian passengers when their bus was ambushed near the Somali border. So the Muslims there came on to say, no, this can't happen. Yes, you know when it happens, we've had so many incidents where they ask you, are you a Muslim? Recite the Quran, and then if you're able to, then they let you go. If you're a Christian, they kill you. I think it happened when they attacked a school this year as well. But this time, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
This is a story which I think should be blown up on the front pages.
Yeah.
And this is a story which the Muslim leaders should hijack and blow it up, because I think the Muslims got too much bad press.
Being a terrorist is being a terrorist. They don't need to. It just happened that they claim to be Muslims. But then the Islamic scholars will also tell you that it has absolutely nothing to do with. If you're a true Muslim, you will not do this.
That's a good story. That's a Christmas story.
That's a Christmas story.
That's definitely a Christmas.
All right.
Definitely a Christmas
Can
story.
we go back and then get to other stories? Africa. Okay. Boko Haram technically defeated. I think we saw that story yesterday.
That's probably the story that
Ghana wants
Sandogbe was upset about.
500,000 bus money back. $500,000 money back. Ghana demands a 500,000, that's 350,000 pounds refund after a government ministry spent 1 million to paint more than 100 buses with portraits of the country's recent leaders. I think that's the story that led to the journalist being, BBC journalist being called, useless.
He's an MPP activist, I'm telling you. I'm
All
telling
right, okay. So this story, we know that. And you know what? Let me tell you something. I married this man knowing that there's certain things that I can't do anything about, like remembering dates and stuff like that. I knew that that wasn't going to happen. So this dawn, as usual, 3 a.m. he was up, making noise, trying to wake me up, and I was so determined I wasn't going to mind him. I was going to wake up at 4:30, but the noise somehow I couldn't sleep. So exactly at 3:10, I checked the time. I opened my eyes, looked at him, and he goes, "Merry Christmas, honey." And then he gives my Christmas present. And you know what I mean is exciting about the Christmas present? More than a month ago, I went with him to a shop. When I went in there, I asked for a brand and I said that's my favorite. I didn't think he listened and actually said that's my favorite because I wanted him to hear, but I wasn't sure he heard it. But now, this morning, he gives it to me and I was like, oh, so you remembered. But hey, they didn't win that. It was left with only one. How come you still got it?
Well, they had it in the shop. So I did it on behalf of all men.
Thank you very much. I love it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
to
Christmas
you too,
to
honey.
you.
Love you, love you, love you. Loads.
Love you too, plenty.
Love you
And ladies, yeah, get to be in sir. I'm the my budget. Right. My so we'll take it like that.
But the show is getting more exciting. We have two wonderful guests who will come and join us, and the conversation will be Christmassy.
But New Year's coming. I'm getting greedy now.
It's a summary. This is a summary. This was Christmas, New Year, and birthday all put together. Indeed,
Merry Christmas! We'll be back.
There were 3 parcels in the pack. That's me done. Maybe we'll be back soon.
That reminds me, if you see him using a silver pen, it's mine. Though he bought it for me. It's mine.